Maymont is a 100-acre historic landmark in Richmond, Virginia, located along the James River, bridging the Gilded Age past with a vibrant community present. While known for its historic mansion, luscious gardens, and extensive wildlife, Maymont brings so much more to the community. See how these once rough, pastured lands have transformed into a place that has a spot for everyone in the community. This is the story of Maymont.
The Maymont Mansion was built between 1889 and 1893. It was built by James Dooley and Sally Dooley. So they were a wealthy, middle-aged couple.
They discovered Maymont on a horseback ride. The story is that Mr. and Ms. Dooley were riding horses and just fell in love with the views.
When you come to Maymont today, a lot of what you see on one side of the park is the original structure that the Dooleys built and how they intended it to look. They left the mansion, they left the collection to the city of Richmond.
Over time, the city, under the prompting of different civic groups, so like a bunch of garden clubs got together and created the first nature center, and William B. Thalheimer Sr., I believe, created the first wildlife habitats and organized a nonprofit group to sort of operate and maintain, the animal, take care of the animals here in the 50s and 60s. And then by the 1970s, Maymont became just so expensive to maintain and do the necessary restoration and take care of the animals and the nature center that the city handed over operations and fundraising for Maymont to the Maymont Foundation. The Maymont Foundation raises the money to keep everything else going and to hire the staff to groom the gardens, take care of the animals, create programs. What we're wrapping up now is the Maymont 2025 project. And the two major investments there were replacing the mansion roof, which there was a structural beam that needed replacing inside to sort of make sure the front of the house where the Tiffany window is didn't separate from the rest of the house, so that needed repair. They had to pack everything up in the house. The climate control system, the HVAC system needed replacing because it does get cold here in the winter, we learned, and it gets very hot and humid in the summer, and you can't leave all those historic pieces of furniture and all the decorative arts collection in the mansion while you rip out the old system and put a new one in, and while you're replacing the roof. So part of the funding had to cover packing everything up very carefully, taking it off-site to climate-controlled storage, and then bringing it back. So it was a major project. They did some repainting. They did some historical paint analysis to make sure they were going back to the original colors, not just the colors that were put on in between in some of the rooms.
There's about 5,000 pieces in the collection. And then we have about 1,000 archival pieces as well. So
they did a couple of conservation projects. There was a very fine copy of a Rubens painting that had been in storage for 50 years because it needed conservation. It's a major project. It's a large painting in a really nice frame and needed a lot of conservation, so that was part of the project. And
then later on, in the 1800s, they hosted a luncheon for the governors, and we know that at least 500 people attended that. So it's very hard to imagine when you're walking through the museum now because we have so much stuff in there since we have 2 houses of stuff. It's hard to imagine 500 people in there, but it was designed to accommodate those huge numbers for parties.
So when they originally built the mansion and the other buildings, were they originally planning to eventually donate it to the community?
That's a really
or was that a
good
decision
question.
that came after?
Yeah, so we don't know exactly. There is some thought that they did intend to leave it to someone, whether that was the city or not. We don't know for sure, but this was a trend at the time for wealthy individuals to leave their entire estates, especially if they had an art collection. It was not uncommon at all. You see a lot of people, especially in the New England area, like Frick and Vanderbilt, who were just leaving their stuff to people to enjoy and to enjoy as a museum. So it certainly could have been an idea that they had as they were building it. And as they were continuing to update and to add the gardens, they may have had thoughts about leaving it to someone for the public to enjoy, but we're just not completely sure.
One thing Maymont is known for is for its variety of animals and wildlife. A farm was completed in 1960 for children to come and interact with and pet farm animals.
What are you trying to do here, dude?
Ready? Munch, munch, munch.
Finally, the place to find wildlife in Maymont is the Robbins Nature Center, opened in 1999, which is home to many of Virginia's aquatic animals and plants. The Robbins Center is a place for people of all ages to come and learn about our ecosystems here in Virginia and all that they have to offer.
Hi guys, my name is Rachel Riesbeck and I'm the education manager here at Maymont. So that means I oversee a team of 3 full-time staff and several part-time staff. We deliver programs to guests of all ages, so students that are coming here for field experiences, kids that are coming in for our camps, and of course the general public for lots of our programming like night hikes, our workshops to plant gardens and to build wreaths. So lots of fun, like special events as well. A lot of those students come from Title I schools, and this might be their first experience kind of seeing animals or being near gardens or getting to see a historical space. When you walk around and see our animals in their different enclosures, you'll also see some other unique items. So you might walk past and see something that looks kind of like a toy, or even an item that might look like something in your recycle bin. Those are types of enrichment. So our staff works with our animals every day to provide training and enrichment to make sure that the animals are doing a lot of their natural behaviors. That might mean hiding food in something unique that they have to use all of their senses to explore and find. And that really gets down to like being able to provide those natural instinct behaviors like foraging. Make sure that our animals are never really bored, right? It's kind of like, imagine you're in your room and there's nothing in there but your bed, right? Eventually you're gonna get bored, so you need things to change, need things to discover and explore. I think snapping turtles are really fascinating. I think they get a really bad rap for just being like aggressive. But it's really just because they're the largest freshwater turtle, and because of their mass, they can't tuck any of their body into that shell. It's literally impossible. So that snapping is really just a defense. They are really just protecting themselves because they are know that they are very vulnerable.
Maymont is really an asset to the community. We hear so many people who say that when they have visiting guests, they bring them to Maymont, and that's definitely what I do. It is a beautiful place, and we say that we have something for everybody, and I think that's definitely true. Whether you're coming for the history, you're coming for environmental education, or you just need a nice place to stroll and look at some pretty flowers and trees, we definitely do have something for everyone.
During the pandemic, it was really clear how important it is as a outdoor space.
Maymont to me just means a place that I can come and enjoy and get away from my everyday life and be able to just sit in nature. And it's almost like this little kind of oasis in the middle of a city that lets you just kind of breathe and relax and take in the things around you and remember that we are part of nature and nature is a part of us.
So Maymont was definitely a showpiece.
It sees over 1 million visitors every year, and my education department gets to meet a lot of those visitors through our different programming. We also work with about 18,000 students every year from local schools and in around Central Virginia.
It's a sort of creativity spark. You know, you see things that make you think differently from the 4 walls around you, wherever you are all day. Maymont, when it first opened, was just a historic estate. You could see how a wealthy couple had built a beautiful mansion and some landscape gardens, and it was a lovely open space. But over time, because the community wanted them, the wildlife habitats were established, and the nature center was placed here, and then a larger nature center was built. By the community, for the community. It's a place where lives, where lives kind of intersect, and everybody has a Maymont story.